All right, welcome to Tough Talk Radio Network. That's where we're at. Yeah, House Talk Radio. My name is Tony Gambone. I'm here today without my beautiful wife, and you can see I'm already making mistakes. So sometimes I tell her I do that just so she looks good, but most of the time it is my fault. So a great show lined up today. We had a little technical difficulty in the beginning here. So what we're going to do now is just we're going to do a little different this week. I'm just going to have a conversation with my buddy Bobby Bryant out of Houston, Texas, and we're just going to sit down and learn a whole bunch of information that's going to help you if you're a homeowner or you're looking to buy a home. So without wasting any time, welcome Bobby Bryant to the show. Welcome, Bobby.
Hey, thank you, fella. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Now, in the beginning, we did this little thing back and forth, and I still want to plug my buddy's restaurant down there where you're sitting. So let's tell them about John Cruz's restaurant in Midtown. How can they find it?
Yeah. So John Cruz, a good friend of mine, mentor, iron sharpen iron buddy. He actually has a beautiful restaurant called Phil and Derek's in Midtown Houston. Great food. Definitely reminds you of being in New Orleans. Cajun cuisine. So I invite everybody to come try it out. Have some great food. If you like fish and crawfish and lobster, steak, you definitely have to come check it out.
Awesome. So Bobby, I know that you're originally from Alabama. You're here in Houston now, and I believe if I read right, you made your way here, and you were in the mortgage business to start with before you got full time into real estate, right? I think you something about what I read. You're a nerd, and you wanted to learn all the ins and outs, right?
Right,
I
exactly.
That's cool that you can say that about yourself. You know what I mean? Because most people think that's not a good thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And they're just ignorant. When you can admit that you like to know more, no matter what they classify that out, I just think that's awesome. That's
exactly.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So let's talk about real estate. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, and I got this long list of questions. So I see it on your hat. I see it on your shirt. It says DOS, D-O-S-S. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, what does it stand for? What is DOS?
So DOS is a technology company, and our domain is real estate. The acronym for DOS means Digital On-Demand Software Systems. I liked back in the old days when you saw Microsoft and IBM Watson with the DOS system, meaning, what was that? Digital Operating System is what their DOS meant. We added another S to it and wanted to kind of throw homage to the fact that, we are indeed, you hear a lot of real estate companies say, oh, we're technology. We wanted DOS to embody technology in the real estate industry.
Okay, so for guys like myself, who understand what the real estate industry and what the internet is, sort of, what is it? What can you take me down the road that explains to me? All right, so why would I want to know about DOS if I'm a realtor or a homeowner? How's it going to help me?
Got it. So great question. So we historically the real estate industry by way of practice has been agent centric. And just like any other industry, it was that industry centric. And at DOS, we started this journey with the objective of drastically improving the experience for consumers to get information, to create a consumer-centric movement. When you look at what's happening with Siri, Apple, when you look at what's happening with Amazon, Uber, all of today's companies, they're consumer-centric. They focus on the consumer first. And we realized that the real estate industry was a bit conflicted, that it didn't know how to keep itself important, but at the same time, make the consumer first. And we wanted to change that dynamic. And so by doing that, at DOS, we wanted to build an intelligent assistant that's like having a realtor in your pocket, but in your mobile device. It's like an Alexa, a Siri, but in your phone, but you're able to ask all real estate questions, unlike you're able to do on those technologies. So DOS is no different from a Siri or an Alexa, but specifically for the real estate industry, empowering a consumer and an agent to be able to ask any question about any property in the country to get accurate, easy, and instant answers. And that's what we wanted to accomplish, to automate getting information, because we also realize that when you think about the top 5, the top 10 real estate search platforms, that they really only show about 40 to 45% of the available data out there. Everybody is giving you a zestimate, an estimate, the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and square footage of the property and how big the lot. But there's so much more information about any given property than just that basic data. And so we wanted to be able to empower a consumer, especially a millennial who's the largest purchasers of homes right now, to have all the information they need and want, at their fingertips and at the edge of their voice, to be able to speak and text any question without totally, having to wait to get that information from a realtor, or information that is just not humanly possible for a realtor to know about every property on a given street. Not even talking about, in a market area in the city or throughout the country. So we wanted to be able to better mobilize information like never before. And that's what we created with DOS.
So as a consumer, if you had a question that you wanted to be more up to speed on buying a house, you could ask your question before you met your realtor. And I'm sure that would be a way of clarifying which realtor you wanted to work with, because, what if the realtor says, hey, that's a great question. I don't have the answers for that, but wait a minute. Let me put it in my phone. I do have a way of getting that information. To me, being a home remodeling contractor, I don't have all the answers, but I'm not against finding out, because I don't want to look like a fool. So that would make me feel better as a consumer to hire that realtor that doesn't claim to know everything, but has access to that knowledge. So yes. What made you come up with this? I mean, I know you said you were kind of a nerd, right? But this is taking it to another level, right? What made you decide to do that?
I've always felt the way I felt that the real estate search engines were a little bit antiquated. They all use the same format. They all have this long rectangular bar that says type in an MLS number, an address, or a zip code. They all do that. They all have pre-filtered boxes. And when I hear the term pre-filtered boxes, that means you're going to give me a limited output. But so what happened for me is in 2011, I was watching Jeopardy, again, a bit of a nerd. And I saw IBM Watson playing the 2 winningest players on Jeopardy. And when I saw this computer beating the 2 winningest players and won the $1 million prize, I was like, holy smoke, what if we could do that for real estate? What if I could ask questions like, hey, show me houses for sale in Katy that's between $300,000 and $400,000 with 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, that's zone 2, Katy High School, has natural light wood floors and granite countertops in a cul-de-sac with an in-ground pool. And it shows me that just instantly without having to click boxes or learn how to use a website. And then next thing you know, same year, months later in 2011, Apple introduced the world to Siri. And then that's when it really came home to me. I was like, you know what, this is it. This is it. I want to turn around and have an intelligent assistant that's specifically for the real estate industry that can answer all questions, and it has no desire to mislead me or lie to me. It doesn't have to tell me to wait, let me get back to you. That's a great question. It can answer all of my questions instantly and then set appointments. It could tell me the value of a house. It could hey, let me know when my house is worth $500,000. It could do all of these beautiful things in a way that a person can't do it. And that's what stuck with me. And that's what we're building. And that's what we built.
That's awesome. So let's say the investment side of me, I want to look for investment homes. Will it work for an investor as well?
It will work beautifully for an investor, because, what if I want to scour their MLS and find out, the lowest price per square foot listing and the zip code, right? Without having to scroll through and spend all the hours. What DOS wants to do is live up to the promise of technology, which is doing 2 things: save us all time and money. and that's what we want to accomplish with DOS, and especially with an investor. Time is money.
Hmm. So I just spent a few hours over the weekend on the MLS, on HAR, 21 pages, looking for things, filters, price range, under contract, under contract, under contract, under contract. And I wanted to put in there, can I just put that's not under contract so I can get down to 3 pages? Because it's a
Exactly.
seller's market right now. So it's very hard to find a property. So I would think, I've already thought of a half a dozen realtor friends of mine that I'm going to ask if they have this, but is this an app that you download on your phone? Is that how you get it?
So we're going to be going live February 8th, 2021. And yes, you'll be able to download it on your mobile device. Doesn't matter if it's an Apple or Android. You'll also be able to, search on your desktop. And we'll be integrating into the smart speakers as well.
Mm. So it's not on the market yet.
It's not on the market yet. We launched it for 45 days. We had an opportunity to study what they call a market fit in the tech world. And
Right.
the objective was to study and watch how people used it, to make sure that it would be something that people would want to use. And the experience was stratospheric. I mean, it was amazing to see how people used it and the questions they asked, how they engaged it. It was a beautiful experience. So what we did was we turned it back off, and we went back to work. We tore some things down, rebuilt some parts, and we're getting ready for a relaunch from not only what we developed the first time, but what we also learned during that beta period time of testing it.
Right. So is this a Shark Tank thing?
It's not a Shark Tank thing. Although not yet. Yeah, we are raising capital. We are dealing with investors. But I don't know if the Shark Tank guys, they're not really big on technology. Although some of them made their billions, in the technology space. So we rather not chance it to. I would hate to put Mr. Wonderful in his place.
I'd love to watch that. That would be awesome.
Right.
So, I mean, you kind of explain why it was created and what it does for the buyers and sellers, right? Now, I mean, actually, we talked about buyers, but what about a seller? So I have a house and I'm in Katy. I have an in-ground pool, 1-story house, 2,300 square feet, and I want to know the real market value. Will it tell me that?
Yeah. So you're able to ask DOS questions. DOS, how much is my house worth? DOS, what are the, what's the activity in my area in the last 30 days, the last 60 days, the last 90 days? You're able to get that information like that. You have to sign in and become a member of DOS, in some states, because like Texas, it's a non-disclosure state. So you do have to become a member of the state in order for us to give you, sold data and et cetera. But a seller is able to really deep dive into not only their property, but what's happening around them. Even the price per square foot, if they want to act that way. You have some people that are a little bit more cerebral than others, and the way they want data, they can ask depending on who they are and how they want that information. Even as I gave an example, if you buy a home and you like, hey, DOS, let me know when my house is worth a certain value, things that a realtor would manually have to do that our technology can do seamlessly. So DOS really is created for everybody. It's for the buyer, for the seller, for the agent, to connect them. You're right, with an agent that actually understands, with an agent that knows their market. The worst thing any consumer can do is to be living in Montrose and be dealing with the Kingwood agent. That agent doesn't know the Montrose market. It's not as cookie cutter, right? Houses in Kingwood tend to be a little bit more standard cookie cutter houses in comparison to being in a city. And so those things really matter when it comes down to, or for a seller. Do you understand my market? Do you understand, that this bungalow next to me versus my, 8,000 square foot mammoth house, there's a difference there.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of houses like in the Heights or Oak Forest that, they're bungalows and they're worth more than a 4,000 square foot house in Katy. So I mean, it's crazy. but it is the market, right? And this,
Yeah.
I like the fact that the consumer, okay, um, has the opportunity to be educated. So for me, when I go to a customer's house to do an estimate on the work they want to get done, I try to listen to
Uh-huh.
everything they want, but I try to educate them on everything that I've known in the last 40 years so they can make the best decision based on the money or budget that they have. So this app seems as though it's going to help a buyer or a seller understand the value that they can get or pay for a house. Just so, for instance, usually you have to call a realtor or run all the comps and the house is sold in the last 30 days. They come up with a number for what the average house per square foot in that area. That I got a headache already just explaining that, right? You're telling me that I can ask DOS that and it will spit out the information and I'll be able to base that off of saying, well, Mr. Johnson, I want to put my house on the market and I want to ask 271 and I'm not going to hear, no, it's only worth 250. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
realtor can make a fast sell and fast commission and the homeowner gets beat down a little bit or vice versa, like, so the buyer
Exactly.
wants to offer 250 and the house is valued at 270. Everybody's got comfortable proof. It's just not your word. I've been doing this for 20 years and the homeowner, you know what I mean? It keeps everybody in a safe space, I believe.
It does.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. And just via my experience in the industry, I'm not a practitioner that 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 wants a naive or ignorant consumer. I love working with an informed consumer, and the more they know, it makes my job easier. And actually, the more they know, it makes it easier for me to help them avoid the pitfalls of home ownership, of buying a home, of selling a home. And so that's what we wanted to create with DOS, an easier way for them to get as much information as possible. So when we do put them in contact with a realtor, they're an informed consumer.
Right.
And at the same time, it for a realtor, it allows them to not have to, if that consumer or client where there's a buyer or seller, ask a question on the spot, that they don't have to say, that's a great question. When I get back to the office, let me look that up and I'll get back with you. No, you can, hey, DOS, it can get that answer right then because, I may get all the way back to the office and somebody changes their mind because they didn't get the information when they needed it.
Right.
So DOS makes it instant, everything you need to know. I'll give you another example. In the real estate industry, as a licensee, we're not obligated to give certain information. Case in point, we just had a deal that busted out, and it was a transaction. They went under contract, but come to find out, they terminated because there were two sex offenders that lived on the street. Well, the realtor isn't obligated. They can give you the website, but they can ask DOS, hey, DOS, are there any sexual predators in his neighborhood? Registered. It can show you, and not only that, but show you the address where they are registered. But see, what we do is that instead of trying to go to 4 or 5 or 6 different websites, DOS is able to bring everything into one platform, so it saves you time and you can make great decisions. Look how hot the market is right now.
Right.
Like you could end up spending too much time trying to do due diligence and miss out on your dream home, right? But with DOS, here are all your questions, here are your immediate answers. Make that decision and be the first to get that offer in, because it could be the difference between you losing out on a property or not, because it's taking too long to do the due diligence. Same thing as an investor. It's taking you too long to do the due diligence. Speed can kill you if you're not fast enough.
Yep. Yeah. And if you're too fast, it can kill you, right? So you got to find that average speed limit to travel during your day with clients, because like you said, you want to seal the deal. So
yeah,
if you give them any kind of opportunity to have buyer's remorse or so, you don't want to take that chance and you want to close the deal right away. Now, is this something that you'll be speaking to groups of realtors about?
Yeah, so there are going to be markets. Now, one thing that we are doing with DOS, which that's a great question because that's an interesting segue, is that when we initially were creating DOS, we weren't creating DOS to be a brokerage with realtors. That wasn't our objective. However, through the evolution of things, that's what became, and we gave a few leads out to realtors, and honestly, they really didn't handle the referral with care that we would have liked. that's what evolved us to saying, you know what, let's set a high standard and now get DOS realtors, DOS agents. We call them DOS pros for professionals. And so we are in a process right now of even franchising that model. And so what we're going to have is this nationwide superior search experience that will literally be the best search engine, real estate search engine that the world has ever seen. And I mean that. And we're now going to have agents that are DOS realtors throughout the country. And we're going to be providing those leads that come through that platform to our realtors. Now, if we have a particular market that we're in and we don't have any DOS agents yet in that market, we are going to partner with individual other companies. We are going to partner with, no matter what brand you're with, until we get DOS agents in that market. Right. So we will have partner agents, you know, that we will give leads to in exchange for a 25% referral fee.
Right, right. So is this something that can be taught in the Trek class for continuing education?
You know, from a technology perspective, yes. But I also think just when you start talking about, I think this whole evolution of things, you know, post-COVID, where technology is going, I mean, there's plenty of approaches, you're right, to teaching just a new standard, a new way of business, you know, a new perspective on the industry. I think consumers are getting smarter, and when people get smarter, you can't, what I say, you can't have an 8-track mentality in a Pandora world. Right. You just can't, you know, and a lot of things with the real estate industry, it functions with an 8-track perspective. You cannot deal with these millennials who came out of their mom's womb with a cell phone and iPads. You know, that's these kids that we're dealing with. These kids are average age 32, 33 years old, but the average realtor is 54, 55. And so you got a 20-year age gap of 2 generations, that one generation is dominating the average age of realtors and the other generation is the dominating a consumer that's buying real estate. And they think different, they act different, they carry on different, they use technology different. Yeah. And what has to happen is there has to be some bridge. And that's what DOS is, you know, in a pursuit of becoming, that bridge that unites and brings it all together in one seamless platform that allows people to function at their highest and best use. The consumer, the technology, and the practitioner being the realtor.
Well, you know, but I've ran numerous networking groups, did Trek classes for realtors. You know, I seem to be in the market out there trying to discover other things than what I was probably meant to do. You know what I mean? But here's the thing that I'm seeing. A couple things, like, right? One is the boomers out there, okay? They're finally all in to the real estate business because their spouse is retired now and they didn't have a comfortable lifestyle, whether they sold the house or 10 houses. It didn't matter. I always call that the hobby realtor, right? And then you have the young realtor that's coming out and maybe they're going through that Keller Williams training, which is probably pretty good training, right? And they learn how to do different things. But what you're offering here, what you're doing here, I think is a program that can be, it could be monetized, right? And all the presentations can be just because you're a great guy, so they buy the process, right? And I think that the boomer age, right? Like, so when I used to talk to people about building relationships to build business, I went with the boomer because, you know, they were friendly, but they were corporate. And they don't understand the entrepreneurial world. Like, there's no strangers, you know, you have to listen to and repeat back and all that stuff. So you have a market right there. Then the millennials, that's like the easy market, right? So, and that's where you find your agents. But the old timers who have been doing it for a while and have a long list, I think that brings 2 things together that could really benefit your process a whole bunch, get you on the street, like, you know what I mean, in front of
people. Exactly.
Now, would that something Trek would have to approve?
With what we're doing at DOS, or?
Yeah, as a presentation for continuing education, because they have to do it.
Yes.
Every year. So it's another fit for you to be in front of them.
Exactly. Yeah, it would. The coursework would have to be drafted and then presented for approval for CE credits. Yes.
Yeah, because I'm sure that there's, as we're speaking, at least 20 brokers across the city that were wishing that their people would show up for a CE class in the office so they could have a little get together. Because that's a hard thing to keep going. You know what I mean? Like,
It is.
especially now
It
with the
is.
pandemic, they all have an excuse not to show up. They can even do it online. But what you're offering is, I don't know, for lack of a better word, man, it's a piece of cheese that can make their job so much easier.
Exactly.
And let's face it, I mean, if you can make the job easier, why not?
Yeah,
You know?
and that's the objective. Let people function at their highest and best use. Meaning that when you really think of the data, because I'm again a bit of a nerd on this, but when you start talking about the data, 75% of all realtors don't even have a CRM, and their CRM is this their cell phone, which is not a CRM. But when you start talking about being able to put everything on autopilot, having a technology that could understand what your client is doing, from them being a cold lead to a warm lead to I'm hot, I'm ready to go look at houses right now. That's what we wanted to create, a true intelligent assistant, a personal assistant for the consumer that will serve the consumer at the same time benefit the realtor. So while I'm working with 3-4 clients actively, DOS could be literally cultivating and incubating my leads, incubating my clients for me. And so, it's a method of empowering the realtor to function at their highest and best use, and the consumer, everybody involved in this ecosystem.
Now, I know, Bobby, that you co-author a book with Brian Tracy.
Yes.
And, I talked to Brian. He said it took him months to get you to allow him to write a book with you. But
Yeah.
My question is, and I ask this on all my shows, I think, I'm not going to go God on you here, but I think we're all put on this earth for a reason, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's for testimony, good, bads, and others, right?
Yeah.
That's testimony. You need to put your story into a book or a chapter of a compilation book, right? So that you can have a marketing tool when you do the class to give away the $3 book. They go, you see what I'm saying?
Yes,
That
sir.
credibility, especially if you got to February. And if you're going to do franchising, I got a very good friend of mine that does a radio show on our network. Okay. That's a franchise broker. So if you ever need to chat with her about what it would take to do that, she's local right here in Houston. Okay.
Great.
Born and raised here. And so, it's, she's a boomer. Okay.
No problem. I'll take you up on that.
Yeah. Because I really see this here as something, what's got me excited is, you're on my show before Shark Tank. I'll be able to brag later.
Right.
January will be here in no time. February will be here in no time.
It really will.
And I think that I'd love to be able to help recruit people to sit in a room for you to walk it out the door, so to speak, and give them first opportunity to be that person in the different areas. Because Houston's a big market.
It is.
I mean, and if you had to guess off the top of your head, what do you need? 20, 30 people in certain locations?
Yeah, we the way we have it structured, we have just over 50 market areas for Houston that we plan on selling. And so when we sell the franchises throughout Houston, throughout Austin, Dallas, throughout the country for that matter, the objective is to have a variety of people in each market. Again, the cool thing about consumers is they want to work with who they feel like they will be comfortable with, and to be able to, similar to HAR, that I speak this language, You can lay out those designations, those characteristics, so a consumer can be specific about the type of agent they want to work with, and help them out. So yeah, we do and will have a variety of coverage throughout the city, each city.
That's awesome. That's awesome, dude. This is awesome. I didn't realize what this was all about. I've been doing a little bit of homework. You know what I mean? I like to wait till the show is live because my enthusiasm shows up better. Like, you know what I mean? It's not rehearsed. It's not planned. Look, we started the show and we stopped it, right, and then started over again because of technology.
Exactly.
What's really cool about it is the information is just right on the money. Now,
Exactly.
if someone wanted to be an investor, you said you're still raising money and stuff. If someone wanted to do that, or they wanted to know more, how do they get in touch with you?
So please email me at Bobby at, and that's BOBBY at ASKDOS.com. That's Bobby at AskDOS.com. We are raising capital right now, a minimum buy-in of $10,000. You can shoot me an email. I'll be glad to give you our pitch deck. It's in the form of a convertible note that provides a 20% discount with a 36-month term. I'll be glad to further explain that because it is a little different, but that's kind of tech, what it's like investing into a tech company. And once which we are talking to some pretty big investors, but that'll wait until after the first quarter of 2021. What'll happen is once we raise a substantial amount of money, your convertible note will convert to shares, and you'll get a 20% discount. So just like any other tech company, it pays to get in early. So we're very excited. We've already raised about $1.2 million, family and friends to develop to this point. Right now, we're raising a $500,000 round. Again, minimum buy-in of $10,000. So yeah, reach out to me at my email. You can also find me on LinkedIn. That's Bobby Bryant. I don't have this COVID beard. I'm pretty clean cut on my LinkedIn profile. So look me up. I'll be glad to speak with you, about what that looks like.
Awesome, dude. This is awesome. I'm really excited because I love new stuff. When it's coming out like that, there. Because we need. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I don't get excited about too much stuff anymore because
right.
Been there, done that, right. But this is something that no one else is using. I can see the widespread of opportunity here, and I would love to see you go franchise, especially if I become an investor. I mean,
there you go.
Perfect, right? So there's a big picture here, and I'm serious. You need to tell your story, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I'll even add to that. I mean, again, you start talking about connecting all the dots. We just literally on 9/11 was awarded our mortgage company. So we just launched DOS Home Loans. We have DOS Home Warranty. We just did a nationwide partnership agreement with ADT and Vivint. So our goal is to connect all the dots. We've already talked to the executive level over at First American Title. First American provides us non-MLS data for off-market property. So we're in discussions with them about opening a title company throughout the country. So we plan to expand, DOS franchise nationwide, our DOS Home Loans nationwide. Home Warranty is a nationwide partnership with residential warranty services. So yeah, our goal is to create this marketplace that we don't have to ping pong a client in and out, that we have an entire ecosystem. And I mean, you could pull and ask DOS mortgage questions. Hey, DOS, what's the difference between a conventional loan and an FHA loan? How much money do I need to put down on the FHA? With a conventional loan, what's the minimum down payment? So all of these questions, and then, hey, DOS, can you put me in touch with a loan officer right now? So all of these things, and we get paid, because we are a mortgage company, we get paid for that person when they close that deal. And so it connects all the dots. It connects all the dots, and we make money along the entire journey. But because we make money along the entire journey, we're able to reduce the cost for the consumer. We save sellers money. We only charge them a 1% listing fee to sell their house with DOS. Full service at a fair price. For buyers, they sell with DOS, and we give them a 1% rebate to lower their closing costs. Why do we do this? Because our mission statement is to develop the best technology to make homeownership in America more affordable. That's what we want to do. And with technology, we're able to reduce the cost to list and save sellers some of their hard-earned equity. And for buyers, we're able to put some of a 1% back in their pocket to lower their closing costs. Maybe they want to paint. Maybe they want to refresh some wood floors. Not saying that you need the money, but maybe you can use that money to go buy that big 80-inch flat screen TV that you want to buy.
Everybody needs money. You know what I mean?
Everybody wants to save money.
I know a lot of people with a lot of money, but they still need money. You know what I mean?
They still need money. And matter of fact, I've realized with my friends, the more money they have, the more money they love saving.
Yeah. Hey, man, it's been a pleasure today. I can't thank you enough for being a guest on our show. I have a sneaky feeling I'll be reaching out to you to come down there to John's restaurant and have lunch and talk more about this here. I'm super excited about it, and anything that we can do on our end to help promote it, okay? Please, man, use me. Okay,
I will.
This. And
I will definitely do that.
Say thank you very much for being on our show today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. And matter of fact, when we launch, I look forward to coming to your show and we can demo it together in front of your audience.
Yeah, that'll work, man. Very good.
Yes,
thanks again. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Okay, folks, so we're going to just take a second here and wrap up the show. And I just want everybody, I'm just going to recap real fast, okay? AskDoss.com. AskDoss.com, okay? Bobby Bryant on LinkedIn, okay? He's not as casual as he is today. He's a stud on LinkedIn. But if you're in the Houston area or surrounding, which we know that's a big space, or outside the area these shows are heard around the world, reach him at Bobby at AskDoss.com. Reach out to him, learn more, okay? And if you're interested in investing in it, please hurry up before it's too late. Bobby, thanks again. I hope everyone will tune in next week and see us here on House Talk Radio, and I'll have the better looking half of the show with me. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.